All right. So if anybody wants to tune into the YouTube stream, which is completely up to you, you guys can actually see what I'm working on. I'm going to be working on towns while we do this. So let me make a new map. I'm going to make it exactly the same as this one. Create. Yes, that's fine. So, we are officially live for all intents and purposes.
Cool.
And, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to World Builders. Or is it World Crafters? I can never remember. I believe it's World Builders. It's one of those two. Why do I not know the name of my own fucking show? Who the fuck knows?
It's Tisk.
This time we actually have Ranky, otherwise known as Magic D, otherwise known as Sanyolo, or Trafel, or the other one I can't remember the name of because he was an annoying little shit.
You won't remember.
No, I probably will never remember. Let's just be honest with ourselves.
It's just going to be him.
He really didn't stick around for very long, did he? We ended the campaign with him, like, only getting to play, like, maybe an eighth of it. Okay. So, obviously we got Sasquatch kind of taking notes and whatnot. But today our goal is to try our best to nail out a bunch of details. And this may not take the full 2 hours, which is fine. We just want to do this. Now, Rinky, I know you said your character is kind of on the dumb side, right?
Oh, yes and no. He bad judgment. Acts like an idiot.
Yeah, he basically does not care so much so long as his needs are met. It's probably the better way to put it.
Yeah.
For him, as long as he's taken care of and as long as the world keeps spinning, he gives no fucks. So.
Oh, yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay, well, please define.
I mean, make it sound more extreme than what it actually is.
Oh, fair.
Like, it's just monetary base.
That's fair. So, anyways, today we need to work on the mafioso a little bit. Partially because I want to make sure that this is well defined before we get too far into it. Obviously, we know the Mafia has their own shtick, right? They have their own buildings, they have their own setup, but obviously they deal in other things.
Yes.
So, Ranky, as a part of the Mafioso, right? What would you say they have their hands in? And then obviously I will either add to or adjust as is needed as your DM.
Well, let's go the Degen route, probably into prostitution. Illegal gambling, of course, as it's already been gone over.
Yep.
I imagine in some places there could be a enforcement thing.
Okay, so they work as enforcers. They're not afraid of
the sweet protection money.
Yeah, they're not afraid of getting into prostitution. They're not afraid of the basic stuff. So obviously they've got their hands in a bit of the tech of the world, which I feel like I need to redefine this, and I'm going to make a pamphlet in game as well to remind the players of what technology is out there. So obviously we know about oscillators. Ranky, from your perspective, how do you define oscillators?
No different than nuclear power plants or something, except way smaller and hopefully less radiation-y.
Kind of. So,
fun fact: we're all sterile.
Ha. Wouldn't that be some shit?
No, I hope Blaze would keep that to himself and show it off at time just to freak us all out.
Oh, you mean when Sindria figures out she can't have eggs? No.
Wow.
Jeez. Missed the ovulation period for too long. No. Yes and no. So, oscillators are a twofold thing. Who here played Mega Man Legends?
I did.
So, in Mega Man Legends, for those who didn't play, there are refractor crystals, right?
Oh God, I hate this.
Well, the basic premise is you have
Yeah.
these crystals that rotate at a super high speed, very similar to quartz, actually. We can actually do this in the real world with quartz. And it produces a electromagnetic field. Now, in real life, this field is very small, very subtle, very meh. But it works. Matter of fact, we actually use it in everyday watches. When the crystal gets just enough of an electric signal, it produces a consecutive tick, which is how we get watches to work. Kind of cool. That is essentially how gravity crystals work. Is we spin them at a super high rate, right? And at that super high rate, they start to generate a field. Now, the big difference between quartz and gravity crystals is instead of an electromagnetic wave, in this case, it produces a gravitational wave. Now, this can be augmented through alchemical compositions. So, if there is a potion of it, there is an oscillator of it. And there are even some occasions where there are oscillators where there aren't actually proper potions. A great example of that being there's a couple that are actually based off spells, but the way they're still created is through alchemical means. So oscillators are essentially one, a potion, and two, a reactor. So you're not far off with a nuclear reactor thing. You're also just not quite spot on.
Yeah, I figured.
So just something to kind of consider. Obviously, the mob has their hands in this. Now, their technology compared to the Empire is probably slightly subpar. The big difference between a back alley doctor and a high paid, overly educated doctor, right? You're gonna obviously have a doctor who knows exactly what they're doing and can probably work miracles, but then you're gonna have the back alley doctor who will get a job done, but maybe not quite to the same extent. They don't quite have the education or the know-how to really do the exact same work. Which is kind of how I want to define the mafioso as far as their technical prowess. Because you've already ran into this, right, Rinky? Over here in our game, right? We actually have you guys in basically a giant set of workshops.
Yep.
And these guys are amazed at Sanyolo's Mach 4 oscillator, which to them is a legendary object. Like, this is some top tier shit. To them, the highest they might be able to produce is a high-end tier 3. They will probably, under normal circumstances, never actually see something like this again in their lives. So this is a wonder. So yeah, they're obviously into tech. The other thing I wanted to talk about is we've introduced casters, though none of the players have used them yet. Which is a little sad for me as the DM, because I'm a little worried about them becoming a forgotten item.
Oh, that's fair. I mean,
I
need
mean,
to check the other tradition of lists and whatnot to see what could be useful in a sense and whatnot. It's a little difficult because you just gave rank 1, and that while there is a mix of spells,
Yeah, it's supposed to be kind of a filler. Because obviously, especially when you're talking airships and stuff like that, the idea is that the caster would allow people who cannot cast spells under normal circumstances, or I guess to be more specific, cast spells the same way that our spellcasters do.
Yeah.
This gives them the opportunity to actually be of use during those sky fights. Because very similar to like if you were fighting giant birds or stuff like that, a melee fighter is not going to be very competent or capable in those kinds of fights.
I mean, they can latch onto the creature and just hack.
They can,
Are they?
but you
Are they
also
way
got.
more defenseless? Yes, but
But even
depends
then,
on
they'd
what
still
they
have to get close enough to do that. And there's the catch-22, right? Especially
Are you
if you
saying
guys,
because the creatures can move?
because the creatures don't necessarily always have to get close. They can just stay
Uh,
airborne. A great example is I said creature, but the sky pirates, right? They had long-range projectile weaponry. They never have to get close, you know?
uh-huh.
They can always stay at a range. So that's something to consider, and it is something that I do consider. As the DM, is okay. Well, what's the way I can fix this and still make things seem fun? Because a regular bullet is nice and all, but after a while, just shooting the big gun doesn't sound as fun comparatively to someone who can literally cause explosions. So that's the idea behind the caster. Now, for all intents and purposes, the same premise as the oscillator, except the bullets work as spells instead. So if there's a spell, there is a shell. Pretty blunt.
Now
I
all we need to do is give us a magic device that allows us to fly, and we can all play Saga of Tanya the Evil.
Hey, demon. But yeah, that's the idea. Anyways, so obviously the mafioso has a mild hand in this as well, correct?
I
So
would
they,
believe so, but I can't say for guarantee because it could be the one of those high risk, high reward type things that, and
oh yeah, no,
usual
it would.
organized crime likes to stay in the safe zone.
I would say that it would count as a relic. In which case they would deal with it, but they probably wouldn't go out of their way unless they had an easy snag.
Yeah.
By the way, love, your chicken is ready in the pan.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. If it's not cooked all the way, just let me know and I can heat it up some more and cook it the rest of the way.
Did you leave cheese on it? Is it a panna cotta?
No.
Or
Anyways,
panic cock.
so the mafia
Penny cotta.
deals with the basic ruffian crap. It deals with some tech. It deals with some of the religious artifacts, including the casters. Now we gotta actually talk about something else. Okay, we've got to talk about what is their structure like. Now, Rinky, this one's almost all you. Okay, and I somewhat apologize for that. We want to know what the structure of their inside looks like. Like, what would be the grunt level? What would be the not so grunt level? Like, where
I mean,
would we sit?
technically, with something like this, you would have hierarchies upon hierarchies.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have the different things like whatever the street, something streetwise would be related to. You're going to have those casinos under one banner. You're going to have each different business under one banner, and then it's going to get into, you know, actual hierarchy. If you can think of each individual business as its own grunt.
Okay, but let's I hate doing this. Let's get away from that a little bit. And let's talk a bit about like the main hierarchy. Okay. Now
Okay.
I'm not sure how much you know about mafioso hierarchy. I can probably drag something up if you like, and we can kind of discuss what that role would be like.
Okay.
But I'm kind of tossing it a little bit on you, partially because this is important to your character, right? Because your character may be a grunt, but obviously he's going to try his best to maybe not work his way up, but keep high enough up the food chain that he can get away with a little bit more than other people would.
Yeah.
So most mafioso follows the idea of you have the Don, basically the head honcho,
Yep.
the immediate family around him, basically his upper echelon.
Yep.
Then the basically your cousins and whatnot, basically the under. They're relatives, but they're not close enough to be really like in the primary group. And then you have all the goons after that, more or less.
While that's true, you definitely nailed it. I'm trying not to drag in family because I have some ties to some of this stuff.
What
But
do you
You
mean?
too?
You can tie in all the family. You gotta just ice them.
so
Ice them real good.
something for you, Ranky, that you may not fully.
I mean, in that sense, instead of actual relatives, why don't you just do, brotherhood in a sense?
I thought about doing that, but I figured we're
Like
gonna
you said,
have
you
we're gonna have
got you
something
wanted. You
similar
said you
later.
wanted. Yeah, I mean, brothers can tear each other apart too.
Oh no,
That
no,
could be
no.
at rivals and
So
more.
here's what I got on this end, and this is more generic. Okay, I'm
Uh-huh.
but you have the associate, which is pretty much where Sun Yellow sits, right? An individual who is part of a crew, but not entirely like very high on the pecking order. AKA,
He's basically a goon.
yeah, associate's a goon. He's a gun for hire, for lack of better terms.
The original gooner.
Goon. Instead
But-
of GOON, it's GUUN.
Gunner. Your gun.
Goon.
Anyways,
Oh, that's the N I'm thinking of. Excuse me.
anyways, the idea is the goon is on the payroll, but he's also very much the bottom of the line. Next, you have the soldier. Soldier is basically
Yeah.
someone who is full on in, not going anywhere. They're not just paid, not just a hired one-off one, whatever. They're not contract. They are stuck. They are guaranteed in there. So that's probably where Sun Yellow's a little closer to.
Yeah.
He's stuck. He's not moving anywhere.
yeah,
He's not
true.
on contract. He's just there.
Uh-huh.
Then you have the capo. Now, the capo or the capo is essentially a leader of the different crews and soldiers. He has command over associates. He has command over the soldiers. He has command over a region. Okay, so if he basically says something, everybody under him moves. End of story. And this in turn kind of sets things up so that no matter what, like, he's going to have. Oh, I wanted that. Give me that back. Sorry, I'm making maps while
Oh.
I'm
It's mine. Can't have it back.
I'm setting up the treasury for the casino right now because I'm redoing the casino. Which I fully expect one of you dumbasses to try and rob at some point, so.
A
Not high
casino?
enough level for you there.
I don't know.
We'll have
I
to
don't
do that
think-
when we go from small time villainy on the seas to high time villainy.
That's fair. Anyways, anyway, above the capo is the underboss. Now, the underboss is kind of a second in command, but not. His job is to keep all the capo in line. His entire life revolves around the idea that he is going to keep everything in check as best he can. Okay, I need to make sure that I have the stairwell. So this would be someone who is in great power, obviously takes orders only from the boss, but isn't going to shy away from maybe doing things on his own so the boss doesn't have to deal with it. Right?
Uh-huh.
He's the asshole that when push comes to shove, he's probably the first to react over anybody else. So, let's see. Let's do a chapel, and then we'll just modify the chapel into the main gambling hall. Anyways, above him, I cannot say that word, but essentially we can call it the council. These are
Yep.
trusted friends, confidants, family members, but basically anybody who's high enough up that they get a say in how things are done. They answer to the big guy, but they don't answer really to anybody else. And then, of course, above them you have the boss, who is the boss. Now, here comes the major kicker, because this is both an important question, but it's also a damning question. Is our boy the boss, or is he below the boss? Is he a confidant?
Below.
I'm thinking below.
He's basically running one of their operations, but he's not close. to the...
Well, he made an operations and, taking those footsteps.
So we're gonna say that Tyson is not quite at the top there. Which that's the important question. That is a very important question that we need to address. Is
like he's at this point middle management.
Try says that as middle management.
Okay. Soulless. We're going. He's demon. Remember?
He's not me.
But you get what I mean. Try. Yeah, soul. You got a conscious on what you how you need to do things.
Does that make things okay if you have a conscience?
No, the assholes I'm talking about don't have a conscience. They don't care about themselves and their position.
Okay. But yeah, once again, this is important because we need to understand: is he sitting as the Don? Is he sitting as the big guy, or was he below? And we just answered that.
Definitely he
is definitely below. But
he would not disagree with. He probably wouldn't disagree if the boss gave him power.
Oh yeah, no, he's the kind of guy that, honestly, given the opportunity, he'd probably snatch the power if he could. Which we, once again, we have to now define something important, which is like how big up is he? Well, obviously he's a confidant, all right? He's probably on the council. Yeah. But we have to define how much power he actually wields. It is probably more of what I was going to get at.
I would say if you looked at the main boss is tip top, the Don. I would say go 2 below. I would say would make more sense.
He might actually be more of a capo then.
I mean, in power scope probably, but he's not a big boss.
And that's perfectly fine and fair. Okay. So, yeah, if he's only a capo, that right there is actually terrifying when you consider how much power Tyson actually wields. Because that right there also says that if that's what a capo actually holds, right?
I mean, he basically
could you imagine
the casino and whatnot? So
he manages the casino, he manages the races. We know he's got a hand in there. But yeah, it definitely makes things a lot more interesting is the only word I've got, because
Yeah.
it definitely changes the entire power dynamic when we start looking at stuff from that perspective. Because this, once again, if he is only there, right? Imagine someone who has more power, right?
Yep.
Someone who is quite literally higher up. And it completely changes how we have to perceive things. Now, the fact that he also knows Tri's father means that if a capo is meeting a world leader and is an open threat, right? That also means that whoever's on top is probably dealing with even shadier stuff.
Yep.
But I digress. We will come back to that when we come back to that. Actually, that would be better.
So we come back to that? Okay.
Oh no, I'm
Back shots?
I'm actually setting up like the casino now.
I will never go in it.
You've already been in it.
Well, that we will never play the games in it. There we go.
I mean,
We do have a minor. Sorry, Demon.
Demon's not a minor. Who the heck
I
are
dig a
you
dig
kidding?
hole. I'm a miner. I dig a hole.
Alrighty then. Anyways.
I'm the good kind of miner, not the bad kind.
Come on, Demon, diggy hole.
Yep, I dig a hole.
I'm
Can you dig it?
I'm just gonna leave that alone now. Okay, so I guess we're gonna stick with the normal power structure then. I'm gonna go ahead and send this to Sasquatch just so that he's got the notes. Because once again, co-DM, right?
Yep.
I don't know. Is he?
There we go. Okay. Why is that so big? Jeez. Oh, because I made this so damn small. Alrighty then. That is my own fault right there. You think I would learn how to do this by now? Alright. Anyways, so moving on.
Dungeon Soup Beach episode.
Don't talk about that right now. We're streaming, man. Okay, so we have the leadership, we have the idea, we understand a little bit better as to who Tyson is, which is important. So now we have to ask a couple more questions, and then we'll move on from there. So obviously they're into slavery, prostitution. That can happen in a number of different places. Another question we need to ask is, and this is a bit of world lore, so this is important for the world as a general statement. So down in the lore levels, so we're talking layers, well, basically layer 1, right?
Right.
In layer 1, you actually have slave pits. these are areas where mining, scrapping, stuff like that is done on a massive scale. It's a place where people are kept alive just barely enough to keep working, but not enough to be capable of escaping in their wildest dreams.
Mhm.
Alright.
Does the mafioso have a part in this? Are they against it? What are we looking at here? And the reason why I'm saying that is because we kind of need to understand like how much depravity they're willing to go to.
The Don, no, he's not against it, but the unit as a whole does not support it.
So overall, it's not supported. It's not something they're openly for. So it might be something they'd be willing to fight against. Now that's important because
No,
no,
you gotta remember what I just said about the Don.
I mean fair, I suppose. The reason why I'm asking is because this is going to be a small push part later. I fully expect you guys to have to make some tough choices later, as you guys have in prior campaigns. And I want to make certain aspects a bit clearer, if possible.
Alright.
Well, it partially just has to do with.
Do we have a moral compass? The answer might surprise you.
I'm sure some of the crew does, but not all of it.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet cash money that some of the crew has plenty of a moral compass. Like, it seems like Centria has a bit of a moral compass. Obviously, Zon Krok has a moral compass. Ewan is a bit of a wild card. It's a little hard to say whether or not Ewan actually has a moral compass or not, because ruin's a thing.
Ewan is a compass.
Sure, we're gonna go with that.
He's not the compass, he's just a compass.
But anyways, the idea is, sorry, I'm trying to gather my thoughts while I'm also doing this. At some point, you guys might end up down there. And if you guys don't end up down there during this campaign, there's a chance that it'll appear at some point during another campaign. Because once again, we have made Ozzy Mistra a ginormous thing, and it's good to have these kinds of notes. Under these pretenses, it's good to know who has what hand in what jar. Obviously, the Empire has a hand in a lot of the upper levels, but they don't have, like, say, a hand in any of the lower levels. They might have a hand in some of the lowest levels, if only for resource. Because if you guys can't tell, they are very resource hungry. They have no issues taking resources that they feel like they deserve. Now, whether or not...
You mean our resources?
Something like that.
It's not your resources, it's our resources.
Yep.
Yeah, they are very much not against putting lesser races to slave labor, or even some of the automaton races to slave labor, if they feel like they can get away with it. To them, it's just another day. You know, it's another day in the boonies. The Empire is kind of gross. We'll not get too far into that right now. Only because I do want there to be some surprise when some of this stuff comes in. But just keep in mind that outside of their little area, they go from being super prestigious to not so much.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, moving on. Oh, can I not put that on there? That's dumb. Trying to put gold on a desk. Okay, I need to shrink that down. And why can I not? That's weird. Okay, guess I'm not using those desks. Duly noted. Okay, so, obviously I stated that their tech isn't up to snuff, right? So, what would you, Ranky, say that their tech is up to snuff? Where do you think that they kind of excel at? Obviously, they enjoy doing races and stuff like that, but like, what would
Yeah.
be what do you think would be their strong point? Where do you think they could strong arm?
I don't know.
That's actually a fair statement.
Who can they strong arm?
Who can they strong arm? That's a big question.
I mean, don't
if
even go as
not.
far as like who can they strong arm, is why are they strong arming them?
Money and power is the easy one.
What if there's no money and power involved?
If there's no money or power involved, I get the feeling that they wouldn't care.
I mean, you could basically drain a society of its resources, give them all like cuffs that they have to wear, and say if you leave this area, they will explode, and you basically just give them enslavement with not even being there.
But that's the thing. We just defined the fact that that's not quite how they like to work.
That's how somebody else could like to work. You never know.
Oh yeah, no, there might be part of the mob that's corrupt enough that even they would do something stupid, thinking that they're doing something great, only to find themselves probably on the bad side of the dawn. Which, judging from what we stated earlier, I don't think you want that to happen. Because once again, we just defined that Tyson is only a capo. If he's only a capo, and he's already as crazy powerful as he is, I don't think you want to piss off the actual Don.
Yeah.
And shrink that down just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, once again, enslaving people, we've said that the Don's not completely for, but he's not completely against it either. At the same time, to save face, he might be...
Okay, it's more of a personal, the group.
I think he would use it only to get rid of people that will notice that they have been killed or not. Now, that doesn't make any sense. Sorry.
Basically, it's a reverse kind of witness protection. Instead, it's snitch enslavement.
I mean, that makes a terrible kind of sense, actually.
Look, they were gonna rat on me, so I just sent them to labor.
At the same time, this
For the
also
rest of their
gives
lives.
a reason for the Don to kind of go against. Now, I'm willing to bet money that he doesn't have a hand in Sindria's little part of town.
That's where Mr. Demon Kappa would be in control of, right?
No, that might be an entire different area, but
Or are you talking about my entire level of the map?
I wouldn't even say your level of the map. I'm more saying, like the junkyard and all that, they already have their own little autocracy. He probably wouldn't deal with junk. Like, to him, it'd probably be, I think the best way to, I was going to say beneath him, but yeah, essentially.
It's worth less than the like, to get into the junk business will be worth less than it is to what he already has to start something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Move this stuff around. Actually, no, that works out just fine. All right. But yeah, my mindset is more the fact of, yeah, for him it's just not worthwhile, and obviously others would be more interested in that than he would be. And we'll get back to that another time. Thankfully, Demon helped us kind of clear up a lot of the junkyard last time we ran the stream, so that's an important factor. And a lot of good work was done there. So back to Ranky, we've got the structure, we've got the idea of what they're willing to do, what they're not willing to do. Oh, did not mean to do that. Darn it. I hate when they do stuff like this. There. Okay. So, I guess another question would be, when it comes to the racing, right? Because obviously that's your field of expertise there, right, Ranky? How often do you think that they impolitely interject themselves? How often do they rig the races?
Never.
Do they consider it bad form? Do they do it often? Like, what's the
I mean, if the racers don't pass, that's on them.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, it's the reason why I'm asking is like, okay, well, you know, how would this go about? Who would be intervened? Like, honestly, I could see them doing it as a jumping in as a, hey, yeah, you know, if we really need the money, we're willing to rig it, but at the same time, we're more than willing to let shit just kind of go because people are going to bet, people are going to lose, we're going to win no matter what. So,
Well, if you do, like, I joke and say is they basically have an inside man race a few times. They have him win, and he normally has very low odds of winning. So basically, it's kind of rare for him to win. They drum up all the hype, get this guy like kind of all in, and then have him lose the race at the last minute. And
so
pocket the
basically, sweet JP.
Yeah.
I could see that, though. That also explains why Sanyolo's kind of in the red right now.
I mean, I can also joke and say is Sanyolo is probably their racer that they have lose every so often.
It's kind of what I was getting at, but okay.
Yeah.
So, I guess here's a question: how aware is Sanyolo of what he's doing?
Semi.
Semi. So he's kind of okay, kind of not with the current situation.
He turns a blind eye as long as he gets his cut of the winnings.
There you go.
Until it's his turn to lose, and then he gets nothing. That's why he's always in debt.
Okay. I think I landed the casino first floor pretty okay.
You mean second floor?
No, first floor. Second floor is the VIP area, which is where we actually already have the map already squared away.
Ah.
He's building it from the second floor down.
No,
So we're
I'm
gonna have
actually
underground betting rings.
I'm actually rebuilding it entirely. I wish that was a joke, but no, I'm actually rebuilding the casino entirely from the ground up, which is very, very obnoxious. You have no idea. Okay.
How I feel with the mob, with the whole rigging of the races.
Mm-hmm.
I think they will only do it as if. Well, I mean, they'll do it more often of like, they want the person to still be beneath them, and also for
It's
for
basically
people
another form of
who,
servitude, basically.
yeah, and also for people who go, yeah, I'm the best racer. They're like, are you then? Well, let's see how you do, and then go, nah, make them lose. Want them to owe us money for that. Essentially, just humiliate them.
Or it's the other idea of you were a big winner for the mob, and then you got too big for your britches, and the mob has to cut you down a peg to keep you humble and enslaved to them.
Yeah, that's
Same idea, different principle.
yeah.
Because you could be like the best racer, the mob has done like everything they can to throw at you, to get you to like fumble and not win the race, but you're still managing to win it, and then the one time they do manage to get you, and it's just a burnout, basically.
Yeah.
Basically like speed racer kind of idea with the spear hugging.
That would explain why Saniolo talks the way he does.
He's speed racer.
Oh?
Oh.
Huh?
Oh.
Aww.
Why is there a monkey in my trunk? Oh?
Or you think he's the guy that got his finger bitten off by the piranhas? Because the boss told him to plug the piranha tank with his finger.
Anyways, moving on.
Alright. We're giving you ideas, Blaze.
And I'm not going to deny that.
I thought you were going to say, I am not listening to your ideas. They're stupid.
Nah, honestly, I'm always down to try to listen to your guys' ideas for the most part. I just also have to be kind of careful sometimes because I also have to remember the main story and plotline, which sometimes is great, other times sucks ass because it's like, oh, that's a really good idea, but I can't do it.
It's the idea of does it fit into the main plot, or is it going to take us down a side plot hole?
Honestly, if it takes you guys down side plot hole, we've got stuff for that, so it is what it is. Okay, I think I got this map actually pretty squared away.
You got plotception.
Oh yeah, we've actually got stuff kind of squared away. Casino floor 1. There we go. And I can come back to this later. All right. So now we can talk a little bit more about other stuff real quick. So, the Mafia has their hand in a little bit of this and that. Their tech level is below that of the Empire, but high enough that they, given the time and materials, could probably outclass a couple of other places. They obviously have their hands in relic stealing, which is important, but they don't just go out of their way to constantly steal relics because, one, it's not super lucrative, but two, it's a little bit more risque than, a basic snatch and grab. Oscillators are common enough, you can easily get your hands on that. Versus a caster, which is a little bit more of a rare find, and is probably going to get your guys into some more than admirable hot water. They're not the biggest into slavery, at least not slavery in the normal terms, but they're more than happy to have a debtor slave. Someone who owes them something and they're willing to put them to work to earn it back. They are not afraid to fix a race, but they are not pro-fixing races either, because it's a little bit more lucrative when stuff just plays out as it should. Have I hit all the major points yet?
Yeah.
And we've
I
also...
mean, now it's starting to feel like this is pod racing sort of feels with them.
a little bit, yes.
With the huts.
A little bit yes, a little bit no. So, ironically, it is a form of entertainment for them. The problem is racing takes a couple of different forms. And this is important for Rinky to hear, because this is going to be something that he's going to want to know. If the island is big enough, like, say, the one that you come from, Zonkrok, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, riding horses and stuff like that is a perfectly viable way to race.
Yeah.
But then you've also got a couple of other types of racing. Now, the racing we're about to do is going to be a 2-point race. A 2-point race is literally, you've got A, B, A. So, you start at A, you go to B, and you go back to A. Very simple, very straightforward, but it also gives the racers a lot of freedom. This also means that you don't have to, as the person who's making the race, worry too much about checkpoints. Because if you only got one major checkpoint, it becomes real easy to go, hey, yeah, they made the checkpoint, they're on their way back. Versus they passed checkpoint A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and now they're looping back around back towards the other route, right?
Right.
It's a lot simpler, a lot more straightforward, but it also makes for a funner race, because that player or that racer autonomy means that they have a lot more to go with. You've also got what we can call clean races, where it's no weapons, no brawling, no nothing. You're literally just racing to race. And then you've got your high stakes race, which is what we're about to do, which all hands off, the only major rule is you gotta make the one checkpoint before you head back to the finish line, and you're not allowed to kill, because we want to have these racers come back for another go some other time. They can't do that if they're dead, which means they have to be replaced. No one wants to have to replace a racer. That's too much money invested and too much money lost for no other reason than someone got a little gun happy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, accidents do happen. That's just how the world works. If an accident happens, and it was clearly an accident, they are more willing to forgive and forget. But it has to very much be just that. It has to be seen as an accident. Obviously, stuff that happens outside of the race is going to be very different as well. So, just something to keep in mind is, for some of this, it's very much going to be the idea of... Oh. Okay. It's going to very much be the idea of... was it an accident? Was it provoked? What's going on there? There's going to be people who are going to fight the racers who aren't racers, and obviously them taking out a racer is not going to be a big deal, or it is going to be a big deal, but it's not going to be the same kind of big deal, if that makes any sense. So,
All right.
having said all that, okay, and kind of backtracking back to the mafioso, what would the life of a goon be like outside of where you currently sit, Ranky? So you're a soldier, but you're a specialized soldier. Your entire job is racing, right? They don't expect you to go out and rob a bank. They don't expect you to go out and loot cargo holds and all that. Not that you wouldn't join in if given the opportunity from the way that Sun Yolo sounds, but his specific job is to go out and to win or lose, depending on the situation, races. What would the life of a normal goon be like?
I'd say a bit rough, depending on reputation and whatnot.
So reputation has a lot to deal with what kind of jobs you can sit on.
I made Gap.
Okay. Do these guys employ assassins, or is that a little bit out of their scope? Are they a little more rough-handed?
Depending on how
than that?
desperate. Depends on how desperate.
I guess different question. Are there assassins directly linked to them?
No.
Or are they on contract hires?
Second one.
On contract hires. Okay. Once again, something important to note, because, some people are like, oh, well, the Mafia has, assassins and all that. They probably got their own hitman. But there's a big difference between a hitman and a straight-out assassin. A hitman will take someone out on the sly. An assassin basically erases people from society.
Yep.
Yep.
Have you ever seen The Blacklist? The one guy, the chemist, basically creates the chemical soup that melts people all the way down to their nothingness, basically. They go all the way down the drain.
I mean, I do believe that's just called lye water. Granted, you need to have absurdly high concentration of the damn stuff, but it can do that. Truth be told, it would actually take hours, if not days, or even weeks to properly do, but...
The guy makes the chemicals take you out in like a couple hours, if not 30 minutes to an hour.
That'd be a super acid.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably something equivalent to hydrochloric or... Anyways, moving on. I'm not going to get on the science of all that because that's maybe a bit more than we need on a live stream. Okay, so they don't employ assassins, but they do obviously have hitmen. Reputation obviously makes a difference between whether you're a gangster or a gangstar. Well, think of it this way, Ranky. If you're a gangstar, you're basically in the public eye. You're the person who people are looking at and going, hey, I want to be like him. I actually want to join these people. Versus the gangster who is in the back alley, trying to peddle or at least push drug deals and stuff like that. Or maybe trying to rough up some kids for being, obnoxious little bastards. So, big difference in chain of command and how things work.
Essentially, like One Punch Man, you have all those popular heroes, but when you join the hero society, you are not really popular.
You've got the popular heroes, and then you've got the grunt workers.
Yeah.
Like Tank Top Tiger.
Fuck him.
But yeah. Anyways, moving on. So we've got the basic layout. We have an idea of what's going on. So here's a question, Ranky. So this is a place you've probably visited on multiple occasions. You have a more than basic understanding here. Is there any kind of building or any kind of thing that you expect to find here? Aside from, of course, the casino.
I mean, nothing major. It probably would be more so minor spots.
Well, minor spots are still story based. I mean, the entire point of world
Well, you
builders
gotta think of
is
it like they need someplace to report into. They don't just go like direct to resource, especially if they got heat on them.
so you're. Would you say that'd be a small town or a big town?
Big town, because everybody in small town would figure it out.
Okay, so I'm asking because that's something I'm gonna have to build.
Well, that's more of a security thing at that point. Which is why they're in big town.
Okay, so aside from the casino, which is obviously one big spot, right?
Yeah.
There is going to be a big town because I can kind of move over here real quick. If I move to the big map, because right now I'm also on Foundry, kind of bouncing between maps to get stuff. Okay, so there's our casino. So exact opposite of the casino. So point B would probably be the big town. I need to make that at some point, and that is going to be an actual like town that you guys are going to be able to visit. And I will probably make more of the slums of the town and just have you guys wander around that instead of just do an entire ginormous cityscape.
That's fine. I
But
do agree that you need to. It would probably help you on a more prep time wise to either down or up as needed.
yeah, it's the reason why I've broken this map up a bit, because it allows me to make a bunch of small places that you guys can visit versus
Yeah.
just one giant town like we've done a couple of times prior. But yeah. Anyways, I think we've pretty much covered the mafioso. We have a generalized idea of how we want this to go. I have built the lower end of the casino versus the high end, which basically has stables, a dungeon, and all that. I also added in a treasury down below, which shows just how much money they are raking in. Like, holy snikes. But I digress. And yeah, we'll pick it up next week, and next week will be a normal D&D session. Also, once again, Demon, I'd like to reiterate, because I'm not sure if you were here when we were talking about that. Oscillators are based on alchemy and science, whereas casters are literally based more on the magical end of things.
Okay.
Well, I remember you tried to roll arcane last time we were playing.
Yeah.
So, just something to kind of help out a little bit. I do need to make a little pamphlet for you guys as to stuff that you guys already know. And maybe lock up some pages that you guys don't know. So that you guys can unlock them as you guys go. So, as we like to do at the end of this stream, what is something that the players would like to see? Or not players, but what are some things we would like to do next time on World Builders? Like, is there a different topic we want to nail out? Is there a different area we want to nail out? Do we want to revisit the religious area and clean that up a bit? Like, what do we want to do next time?
I say we clarify Ruin's backstory.
Believe it or not, I've already got that nailed out.
Damn.
Yeah, no. Actually, Ruin kind of figured out a bit last time when we were playing. And he was smart enough not to open his mouth. Ruin already knows something as a player, but not as a character, and I am so grateful that he is not metagaming.
Yeah.
Any other ideas? Like, we can actually go into the slave pits. We can go into the witch covenants,
Oh.
because that's a big one. We haven't even really touched on that one too much.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that. More of like how yeah, like this slave. Essentially, we could do many other things. Thinking the witch will be pretty good.
Once again, Renki, that's in your ballpark. You down for the witch thing?
Uh,
If
I got
not,
time.
you got plans? That's fair.
Yeah. That's why I was like, because I knew it was one of these Sundays.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fair. If anything, I'm glad we got you this Sunday. Thanks again for coming by. I know this isn't exactly something that you were thrilled about, but it is appreciated.
You're welcome. And you're
Um,
short.
So, do we want to do the slate pits next time then, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fine by me.
So next time here on World Builders, we're going to go into the life as a slave here in Azimistra. I can already tell you right now, it is not glamorous. If anything, it's pretty horrifying. But yeah.
Yeah.
In the meantime, in between time, take care, stay safe, stay well. We'll see you guys next time. And just remember, the house always wins.
I'm always watching. Mike Wazowski.
Sure, we'll go with that. Anyways, good night, everybody.
Night.
Later.
Goodbye.